All right. A few quick note about this. I guess I'd call it a 335 copy. So, yeah, I owned one of these several years ago. So this is a Hofner Verythin CT, and this is an earlier version. So I owned one around 2011 to about 2015, 16. So I liked it a lot, and I played it a lot. I think I might have even swapped the pickups at one point for a Benedetto A6, or I might have left them in. So, what do I like about these? One, they're extremely cheap. So for anybody who's looking for a 335 alternative and doesn't want to shell out the money for either a Heritage H535 or even some of the the Gibson, I'm sorry, not Gibson, Eastman, 486, or I had a T185MX. These are all over the $1,000 range, and some of them obviously are in the $3,000 range. This is something that you should be on the lookout for. So there's a couple of things to note about them. This one is just stock, pretty much stock. I'll probably take the pickup off, and it's been set up. So it's got Tomastic Infeld 13s, and it plays like butter. So what do I like about it? So the weight, you can't demo weight. It doesn't weigh a lot. And also, the other thing is a lot of people are shy away from 335 just because the lower box to some people is just too big. And depending upon your size and the ergonomics of the guitar, a lot of people can't navigate to it. That's some of the challenges that they have with arch tops, which is why they play like Telecasters and smaller body guitars. So the advantages of the Verythin is exactly what it is. It's very thin, so it doesn't have that bulky feeling when it's sitting on your lap. So that's very good for some players, and it's also very, very, very light. Now, is it as resonant as it does have a center block, by the way? So, and again, this is the Verythin CT, which is the Asian-made ones. I've actually owned three Hofners. I owned a Hofner Jazzica. I owned a Hofner John Stoll, which was, so those two were like the German made ones, and I owned the Hofner Verythin CT, which is this. Out of all three of them that I owned, this was my favorite throughout my time. So don't be misled by, oh yeah, the German made versus the contemporary versus the original standard. One of the things I didn't like about it, not to digress about the standards, I don't like mini humbuckers. I don't know why. The sound just sounds funny to me. They're neither single coils, nor are they, to me, humbuckers, even though they call them that. They're somewhere in between, and I think with a good set of pickups, you should be able to get that tone in between like that. I just don't like them, so I don't like some of the old vintage ones. But anyway, so let's get back to this guitar. So one, as far as like pricing, you can probably find these things between the $400 to $600 price range. That is an excellent, excellent kind of deal. Get them set up properly. Does it play like my Heritage 535? No, you can't demo feel, right? The sound, close enough to be honest with you, right? And again, obviously different pickups. I don't know what they have in this thing. There's not a lot of research into, clearly they're humbuckers. I don't know what they're voiced like, probably PAFs. But in any event, though, I think they sound really, really well. So price is good. You've got the very thin nature of it. Neck-wise, I prefer a little bit fatter neck. It's kind of have like this, it's hard to describe it. You got to feel it for yourself. It's not as substantive as the Heritage neck that I have. So I love the feel of my Heritage H535 much better than this, but not far off. This plays like butter. So the feel is probably what I like a little bit more, or a lot more of my Heritage than I do on the Verythin. But man, this plays really, really well. As you can tell, you can play it really well with fingers and sounds good with the pick, everything. So anyway, so not to go on and on about it, it's a good find if you can find one of these things used, get it properly set up. Like I said, all of this stuff is stock on it, and I think it plays well for being a stock instrument. That's a sub 1,000, sub $500 guitar in many instances that you can find. All right then. So practice, practice, practice. Thank you so much for watching. Bye now.